What up, YouTube? How's it going? Obviously, as you can tell, this cute little sinus infection has just absolutely demolished my voice. So I'm gonna do what I can to be as energetic and fun and as loud as possible. But know that I can't. I just can't be. With that said, though, I want to give a big shout out to my number one fan, my road dog, the person who takes my advice and listens to it the absolute best 100% of the time. And that is Jasco Games. Big shout out to you guys, Jasco Games. I put out a video talking about what we needed to do about Kirishima and what I think was the correct answer. And you guys crushed it. You guys were like, absolutely, TamCardwell. We think you're so unbelievably handsome and smart and sexy. And you're so awesome. And your hair is never messy like it is right now. You're so humble. So humble, he brags about it, for sure. And we're going to do everything that you wanted to have happen. Yeah. Big shout out to Jasco Games for doing something about the big man himself, Kirishima. But I've seen a couple people with a couple videos just like explaining that it happened. And I kind of want to get into a little bit of the preliminaries of like literally what happens now, right? What are we going to do now that it's gone? Now that the man is dead, what do we do about it? For anybody who does not know, Kirishima has been running the format ever since the game has been played, not just competitively, but at local levels as well. This character is really, really good. He's a 5-hand size character with a lot of health. He's got damage reduction on his face. He's got damage pump on his face. He's got consistency in his builds. He has one of the strongest toolkits to be played in the game. He has an add 2 cards to your hand for blocks every turn cycle. This guy's got a lot going for him and not a lot of negatives. He's not a lot of negatives. Like the only thing that you can say about this guy is sometimes he gets 5-hand sized. But as we saw at the provisional, the best players playing the deck are the best characters playing the best players playing this character were playing some really tight offense, like really, really good. Like stack their decks to the nines of as much good offense as possible. And because of it, top 4 of the 250 person event was all 4 Kirishimas, which genuinely is a problem. Now, Jasco released a statement about the numbers that they used about the characters, but I want to talk about the 2 things that happened. Number 1, Kirishima has a functional errata, or an actual errata, sorry, that says his top enhance is now once per turn on your turn. Thank you, Psycho. Once per turn on your turn, and his bottom enhance is now just once per turn as opposed to twice per turn. So this means that over the course of a cycle, instead of building 2 free foundations, he only gets to build 1. And now, once per turn, he gets to pick up and recycle a move on his turn, right? Whether it be to unflip a card or pick up an attack and then replay it. Or he gets to pick up a really good block and then play it. This also means that he only has +2 damage every turn instead of +4 damage. And he also gets -2 damage as opposed to -4 damage. And so picking up for -2 damage and then auto blocking means you're leaving a lot of waste, because honestly your character is not as efficient as he once was. This is a really, really big change, in a way that I think nerfed this character, justifiably nerfed, but probably a little heavy-handed, actually. I think that this is a really elegant way to nerf the character once per turn your turn, and then once per turn. I think it's an eloquent way, but I do think that it's going to make him obviously not the best character in the game, and I don't even think it makes him an A tier character anymore. I think he's probably one of the best B tier characters. I think his deck now has to do a lot of the heavy lifting for him, but luckily Kirishima's kit can do that, right? Hardened jab, hardened chop, hardened pummel, honestly, might see more play for more aggressive turns. You still get to play a slightly more control build and play throws because you can guarantee get that 2 damage, get an extra build, grab an extra card to recycle some stuff. And if you notice, I have left off talking about one of Kirishima's cards, and that's coordinated effort because it's banned. They banned coordinated effort. Honestly, the biggest change up to the meta. Half of the top cuts were playing as the main man Kirishima himself, and inside of their article they said that there was only one Kirishima not running coordinated effort, which actually blows my mind. But you could say that the other half of the field was running coordinated effort as a 4 of in their main board because there was pretty much no reason not to. This card does a lot. If you look at the card just on its face value, though, response commit after your blocked attack resolves, build it face down, is actually not that. It wasn't just Kirishima. Only one deck in those symbols wasn't one. Oh yeah. That's crazy. The ability of response commit after your blocked attack resolves, build it face down, is not actually that terrible of an ability. It actually is not that rough. It's actually a pretty fair ability. The issue that we have with coordinated is that it checks a 6. It's got a really solid block. It's got one of the craziest deadlock abilities on it, and the tactical play that you can do with coordinated and a ton of other cards in the game is actually just too crazy. It's too crazy. Man, I keep dropping. I just have to get through the rest of the video. That's fine. Yeah, this card is crazy good, and it is good that it is gone, and I hope they reprint a version of it that I hope they reprint a version of it that is actually just like a little more fair, right? I've been saying that I think a functional errata or an errata for this card could be a 3/6 with a response remove ability as opposed to response commit, and I think this card is fair again, or even a 3/5, right? A 3/5 with a remove cost might keep the card fair. Keep the deadlock enhance on it. Let that rock. But I think remove is a really good ability. So what's the issue? If we look at the chart of the most recent graph that I have, and this is the information that I have after the provisionals, but not including the week after webcam event, we have Kirishima being represented as 13% of the pie, right? This 13% of the pie is now going to be represented throughout the rest of the field. It's going to be represented throughout the rest of the field, split up amongst all these really top contenders, right? Your All Might 3s, your Jiros, your Nomus, your Tokoyamis, because they no longer have to deal with Kirishima, and honestly, they're not allowed to play Kirishima, so they got to jump to the next best thing, right? Kirishima was the most represented character at this event, I believe, not because he was 37 people's favorite deck to play or their favorite character to play, but because he was heads above the rest, the best character in the game. And so now whenever we have this 13% being flooded across the rest of the field, what does that look like? And I think that there's going to be some new monsters of the format, right? Full disclosure, I Googled evil All Might, evil Jiro, and good Nomu to see what we see. To find these fun pictures. So big shout out to all the artists here. I wish I could credit them, but I don't have their stuff. This is gonna be one hell of a shakeup, and I think that we're gonna see some of the characters that were having an issue with playing the game because Kirishima exists. I think they're gonna come out swinging, right? I don't know what Midoriya does against Kirishima, but now that Midoriya's bad matchups are actually exclusively Nomu, it's possible that Midoriya 1. Gets to see a resurgence, and gets actually played, right? Shigaraki fell off because getting his stuff blocked for free is getting his stuff blocked is like really is really tough on him. But like now that we don't have people picking up perfect blocks for Shigaraki, I think he's just going to melt people again. Is it possible that the format is actually going to be worse now that we don't have this defensive powerhouse in the format? Is it possible that Nomu playing his defensive pieces and Todoroki playing the control deck, and your Sero's playing control, it's not gonna get there, and games are gonna be over too quickly because aggro is gonna take back over. That is the question that we have to ask ourselves, right? Is what's gonna happen to the not the characters represented, but the tempo and flow of the format. Before, the idea was, if you can't race down Kirishima, what do? Oh, you have to play a better control game than him. Well, now that you don't have to play a better control game, now you have to race down Jiro. Now you have to race down All Might 3, Tokoyami. And these characters are way, way harder to race down because they can swing back just as hard and just as fast, a little more consistently than Kirishima could. Kirishima was just better at the mid to late game rather than the mid to early game, if that makes sense. So I'm going to just keep the format in check now. That's a big question, right? A question that honestly I don't have the answer to, and I've done no physical research on. My big thing is like, what does Atsui 1 look like now that Kirishima's gone, right? Full disclosure, I'm thinking about switching to Atsui 1 in for the provisional, if I can get a list that like works and is well. I'm down to switch to Froppy. Because I think that character is really good. I think that character is really, really good. So my thoughts. First and foremost, I think, as we saw with my last video, that the bans and erratas are good. I think that it is good. I think that touching Kirishima as you did has basically said nobody's going to play that character until the second version of him comes out, which I think is fine. He had his moment in the sun. I would rather, as a player and as a fan of the anime, right? Because I like all these characters. I would rather have a healthy card game that I enjoy playing rather than have everybody be able to play their favorite character out of set 1, right? I think that is important for the longevity of the game. I think that is important for the health of the game. I think it's really, really good. Well, with that though, I would love to know your guys' thoughts. I want to know what you guys think the best character in the game is going to be now. My personal opinion is I think that All Might 3 is actually going to be the best character now. I think that All Might 3 was technically designed with a standard power level format in mind, and I think he's an 8 hand size character that gets stat buffs while he's playable while committed, with 30 vitality is going to go a long, long way. But that's just my opinion. That's just my thought. And I would love to know what you guys think. Let me know down the end of the comments down below. Or over here live on Twitch chat. It'd be fun for you guys to come join me out here. And so with that, thank you much for watching the video, guys. And I wish you well.